Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Wednesday Wisdom with Spirit. I'm Jeanette Biro. I'm a medium and a cosmic channeler. And every Wednesday, I will tune in to Spirit, no cards, just opening up my clairs, seeing who's here, and seeing what the message is. So, let's dive in. Let's see. I'm curious what the energy is because I've had a really busy morning, so I haven't had a chance to sort of like get the feels yet. So, I'm just going to close my eyes and see what's going on. So, just hold on one moment. This is interesting. So, going with the theme of transforming your reality that Spirit has been talking about a lot, this is coming from one of my spirit guides, and they were saying, what was it again? Yes. So, the idea of transforming your reality, they're saying ingenuity is on the rise. And if you allow yourself to get into that flow state, you might be surprised with what kind of ingenuity that comes up from within you. Because they're showing me this almost like this planetary wave of energy, and we have been getting a ton of solar activity. Excuse me, a lot of solar activity the last while. And with all of these waves of solar light consciousness, right, it's activating our own consciousness to rise. It can be uncomfortable sometimes, it can make you tired, agitated, irritated. But what it's doing is it's activating more of our consciousness within, which essentially lights up our whole being, mind, body, and spirit. And within that, I am shown these like sparks, this sparking within of ideas and ingenuity. So you might find that this week too, you come up with these really neat creative solutions to things, either in your life, for your community, for the collective, you name it. But it's this capacity to be extremely creative this week. Allow these sparks of insight to really lead you down a tangent. Spirit is saying that they're bringing them in lots of different ways. It could be you wake up in the morning with an idea, you are driving to work, you have this idea. They're like, capture those moments. So when you can, write it down, note it somewhere so that if you're busy, you can come back to it because you're being given a ton of sparks of ideas with this massive influx of solar consciousness, solar energy. And we are getting into the peak of the solar cycle, which is kind of June, July-ish, right? So we're like getting right there where we'll feel more and more intensity from the sun. But again, when we do, that's creating more and more consciousness to awaken and sort of like spark to life within us. So your ingenuity is on the rise, and this too is what plays into transforming your reality, right? It's really neat. It's this whole energy of becoming the true individual rather than the follower. Now, hear me really clearly. I think there are great times where somebody has a great idea and it makes a lot of sense to follow what they're doing because they've cracked code of something. It's fantastic. It's helpful. We can follow that, right? So it's not that you can't follow anything, but the key is to being that true independent kind of sovereign voice is you're really choosing to follow things or create things as they flow for you, right? So your creative capacity also blends and mixes with the capacity to take ideas and insights from others as well and incorporate it into your life. And with so many people coming up with these sparks and insights of ideas, there's going to be such a hot pot of options. So what we're going to find is over the summer, we're going to be able to draw from so many different ideas because if this ingenuity is coming up within each of us, some creative spark, new idea of something, the minute it is made manifest into thought and brought into our reality, like written down and then acted upon, it is then available in that collective soup, that collective hot pot. And everybody gets to scoop a ladle full from that at any time, right? It's that same 100 monkeys experiment that I've talked about. They had 100 monkeys in one continent learn something. Once it was learned, it was in that collective ether. And then monkeys on a totally separate continent started being able to figure out how to use that same tool. That's that collective matrix energy that it's moving through. And yeah, so cool. What's really interesting about that is you have a capacity to add to that hot pot as well as to gather intel from it. And when we recognize this, we realize it's this absolutely unlimited source of information, of insight, understanding available to us. And so we are all bringing up a lot of that and filling, adding those ingredients, if you will, into that mix right now. So they're saying don't delay on what comes to you as inspiration, speak it, act on it, create from it, because it's really furthering our capacities collectively. Because here's the thing, they're showing me you might have an idea. Um, What's a great idea? They're showing me some new technology, right? Some new technological advancement. You have an idea and you don't quite know how to make it manifest. But what you do is you start drawing it and then you're stuck and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do from this point. I don't know anybody that can help me at this point. I don't know what to do with it. You put it to the side. The thing is you've made it manifest. And somebody else with the same sort of idea might have the next steps and they can pull from that energetic, right? And come up with this new technology or bring it to the forefront. Again, it's the ways in which everything is connected and we can all help each other achieve that. So there's something really significant with that coming to the forefront. And they're saying this is how life begins to spark again. And I'm like, what spark in what way? And they're saying like feeling that zest for life again. We're coming into a phase where we're going to start to feel that zest for life again. So there has been, I mean, if we look back through the decades, we've had decades where, and I'm speaking very generally here, okay? So obviously will be different for some of you, but generally speaking, we had decades of being sort of um, very narrow-minded. Then we had decades of starting to come out of that, but not really knowing what's going on. Then we had decades of like deep truths and deep resonance and change, and it's been speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. And then this revolution, and now we're at this point of excitement because we're recognizing our power. And as humanity begins to recognize their own personal power, things start to shift significantly. And so this is why Spirit is saying, like, really acknowledge the ingenuity that's coming up within you because it's helping to bring forward this new awareness of who you are and this independence and this sense of worth and this sense of knowing. And it can be in so many different ways. It can be in artistic endeavors. It can be with cooking. It can be with how you bring up children. It can be so many different things, but it's really, really powerful. So there's something to be said for that. So notice what's happening for you. Notice what's kind of sparking to life. Follow the tangent as far as it goes. You might find you follow it for a bit and then you get stumped and you're like, I don't know. But then somebody in that collective pool of energy comes up with another idea that you're able to draw from one day, just kind of like intuitively. And then it is the answer for the rest of what you're working on. When we realize where everything is connected, we can tap into so much more. So then how do we tap into that is basically tuning in a meditative state, placing the intention of what it is you're wanting to know and allowing yourself to receive, kind of surrendering into the inspiration. And so it makes sense why Spirit's been like, go deep into self, notice if there's any blocks, because those blocks block your inspiration. When you're feeling that lighter energy, the inspiration can flow to you more freely. So it's a very empowering message. I think that's so cool. So I will leave that with all of you. Again, I do want to invite you to Cosmic Consciousness Circle tonight. You can sign up at avalonspirit.com. I'm going to be talking about the chaos energy, CERN, and the collider, and also some channeled messages about what's going on. It's very, very interesting. So I look forward to seeing all of you there. And I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day. Have a good one, everyone.